Krishna. So welcome to Brisbane Bhakti Yoga, Hare Krishna Temple, Srimad Bhagavatam class. Let's do Mangalaswaram. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Bhutair Mahadbhir Yaima Puro Vibhu Nirmaya Shete Yadamushu Purusha Bhunte Gunan Shodashatmaka Solang Krisishta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me Sri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satata Pivatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Durga Me Patimendasya Skalat Pada Gate Muhu Swakripa Yashtidanena Santa Santvavalambanam. So Hare Krishna. So last week we covered important verses. These verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, second chapter of the first canto. Srila Prabhupada had written in the poem in the ship Jaladuta, basically enforcing quite emphatically that only through this process as given in Srimad Bhagavatam, by Srimad Bhagavatam itself, and by glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, that the impious lives of the misdirected civilization will be changed. There is no other way. So, His Grace Sakirai Prabhu, he's not here, but after finishing these verses, he had mentioned that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions the 14 steps, progressive steps, is given in these 5 verses, which take one from the first stage to the ultimate stage of perfection of Prema Bhakti. So we'll try to look at those verses again and try to meditate on these points. So important thing to remember is that we have to take a stock of where we are in our own spiritual life. That means we have to take responsible for our own spiritual life. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that if devotional service or self-realization is the goal of life, then it has to be pursued by all means. It has to be pursued by all means, meaning that there is no two ways about it. It has to be number one priority in our life. If it is not number one priority, that means that we have not been able to be convinced yet that this is the most important thing. Otherwise, those things which are very important to us, what do? We give it the first priority, isn't it? So if waking up early in the morning and chanting our rounds is not the first priority, that means that it is not important to us. Something else is more important. Maybe it is important, but something else is more important. So that's where Srimad Bhagavatam, Harikatha, Sadhu Sangha comes in. Why? Because by hearing to sadhus, we come to realize, actually this is the most important thing, and I should be turning my life upside down to do this. What's the point otherwise? What's the point? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, old age and disease, and then again, Punarapi Jananam, again you will be born. And in that birth, who knows, out of 8.4 million forms of life, what form of life is awaiting us? Because for every desire we have, a material body is waiting in making. So these steps actually chalk out a pathway for us. And the most important point that Prabhupada emphasizes is realize this point. In Melbourne, when Srila Prabhupada was there, one morning when his disciple Chittahari Prabhu, I think, was saving him, and he saw that in the morning Srila Prabhupada was looking out of the window and tears were coming out of his eyes. And Chittahari Prabhu said to Srila Prabhupada, are you okay? Is everything okay? And Srila Prabhupada just shook his head and said that like cats and dogs, these people are just running around and they don't know what is the goal of life. So sadhu has genuine compassion for the fallen living entities, that they are wasting their lives. Prahlad Maharaj says, Naivoduje paraduratyaya vaitaranyas, that my Lord, I do not wish to cross over this material ocean. Why? Tat virya gayana mahamrita magna chittaha, because I am actually already absorbed in singing your glories and being enlivened in it. However, soche tato vimukha chetasa indriyartha, soche tato, I am lamenting for these fools and rascals who, just for the sake of indriyartha, bit of sense gratification, are wasting their lives. Maya bharam mudvahato, maya sukham udbharam, brahmato vimudha, that they are holding in their shoulders the false burden of happiness of Maya. Why? Or what is that? That is, oh, this will give me happiness. This thing will give me happiness. But guess what? It is illusionary. Sense gratification actually cheats us. It doesn't give us happiness. It doesn't give us satisfaction. It doesn't give us satiation. It only increases our anxiety. And the sooner we realize this point, the quicker we can come to devotional service and the quicker we'll be able to reprioritize our lives. And this is how it starts. Verse number 16. Let's cover these again. Susrusho shraddadhanasya Vasudeva katharuchihi Syan mahatsevaya vipraha Punyatirtha nishevanan. So, the stages listed by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in this starts with Satam Kripa, and that is given by the word Punya Tirtha, you can say. It's by Satam Kripa we can do Mahat Seva. So Satam Kripa is what? It's causeless devotees of the devotees, causeless mercy of the devotees. Like Srila Prabhupada, we mentioned, he was crying, tears were. That is mercy. That he's thinking about the fallen conditions of the living entities. Whoever we come across, we meet, we feel, why is it not Krishna conscious? A self-realized soul like Prahlad Maharaj, he thinks like that. Srila Prabhupada thinks like that. Acharyas think like that. How can I make everyone a pure devotee of the Lord? This is causeless mercy. What does causeless mean? It doesn't have any cause. Without cause. The only cause is that there should be the devotees. I remember this pastime where Ramanujacharya saved his spiritual master, and his spiritual master became very pleased with him and initiated him and gave him this mantra. But he told that this mantra is secret. This is not to be revealed to ordinary living entities. And Ramanujacharya, after hearing that from spiritual master, he said, what will happen if others come to know of this mantra? So he said, if others come to know of this mantra, then they'll become liberated. So Ramanujacharya, the very next thing he did is he went atop this tower, rang the bell, and called everyone of that village. Oh, people, please come and hear the way for deliverance. If you want, chant this mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya. And when the word got to his spiritual master that he had defied the order, the spiritual master was very upset, and he summoned him. Ramanujacharya went there, and the spiritual master chastised him. I told you not to reveal this mantra. Do you know the result? You will go to hell. So Ramanujacharya said, very humbly, I accept going to hell, but I cannot tolerate seeing the living entities suffering. So for their benefit, I revealed the mantra. When his spiritual master heard that, his heart became overcome with joy. And he said, yes, you did the right thing. So this is causal at mercy. Satam Kripa, that's the first stage. The second stage, when Satam Kripa is there, then automatically there is Mahat Seva. What does Mahat Seva mean? Saving the devotee who has shown that Satam Kripa. So in this verse we see Syan Mahat Sevya. It is important to save such devotees. Syan Mahat Sevya. And when the service is there and Mahat Seva is there, then it is reciprocal. It instills Shraddha, faith in our hearts. Faith of what? Faith that this person is so happy. I can also be so happy. I remember this is one of the things when I first met my spiritual master, I thought, oh, this person is so happy. I want to be happy like him. And that instills the faith, Shraddha, in the process, that what is he doing, it must be working. Because if he is happy, then I can also be happy. So that is Shraddha. And that Shraddha results in Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. Punya Tirtha here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur refers to as Guru Pada Ashraya, seeking the shelter of the lotus feet of Guru, who is equal to Tirtha. There is no difference between Tirtha Sthana and Guru Pada Ashraya. So when one takes shelter of the bona fide spiritual master, ascending in this process, Satam Kripa, Mahat Seva, Shraddha, and Guru Pada Ashraya, then actually one becomes eligible to do bhajan kriya in association of devotees. And that bhajan kriya, actually, what's the sign? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Bhajaneshu Spruha. And there is an overlap of verses there. Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Yadiyantastho hyabhadrani vidhunoti sruhutsatam. So just Guru Pada Ashraya is not enough. Some people think, oh, I'm initiated now, Hari Bol. That initiation means, no, it's initiation. Initiation means it's a start. It's just a start. You haven't even started the car yet. What is the symptom? Bhajaneshu spruha, eagerness to do devotional service. Once we become inspired, whether initiated or not initiated, but that eagerness to do devotional service, that when it develops, then we should know that yes, I'm in the right line. If we don't have that eagerness, then we have missed some parts before that. And we should try earnestly hard to get that Satam Kripa. That Satam Kripa hasn't come yet. So this Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana, that eagerness has to be there. And when that eagerness is there, and in that eagerness, when we do bhajan kriya, means worship the Supreme Lord, Shri Shri Radha Giri Govardhandhari, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, following of the rules and regulative principles, then anartha nivritti happens. What is anartha? Yeah, inauspicious things, bad things. Or we can say simply bad habits. Habits which are not conducive to devotional service, it holds us back. It is like, someone has got diabetes, and he checks the blood sugar level. One day the sugar level is low, and he says, what? Now I can eat sweets, gulab jamun. Sugar level goes high. No, he should restrict. So this chanting process, at first, because we are not used to it, it seems spiritual life is troublesome because we are not used to it. So Updeshamrita, Rupa Goswami says, Sri Krishna Nam Charita Disitapta Vidya. That Sri Krishna, Rupa, his beautiful form, his charitra, his pastimes, his character, is Sita. Sit means it's like sugar candy, very sweet, very madhur. However, apta avidya, but we don't have the taste of it because we are suffering from this condition of the liver bile called avidya. Sri Krishna Rupa Charita Disitapta Vidya Pittopatapta Rasanasyana Rochikanu Pittopatasna Rasanasyana Rochikanu. Pittopatap, that's the condition of the bile liver. Actually, it's called what? Disease? Jaundice. So in Vedic culture or in Ayurvedic, the only medicine for jaundice is sugarcane juice. However, a person who is suffering from jaundice, when he has gulab jamun, he will say, oh, it's so bitter. It's so bitter. But sugar is sweet, we know. However, nonetheless, he has to have it. It's like doctor has prescribed medicine. He gives the prescription. Take 3 times daily, morning, midday, evening. That's the prescription. If you ignore the prescription, what will happen? The condition of disease will get worse. Therefore, he says, this condition is there, medicine is sweet, but you cannot feel the sweetness. Therefore, Kintvadarādanudinam khalu seva jushtam. Therefore, fiercely you respect the order. What is the order? Take the medicine, even if you don't like it, even if it's bitter. That is called, Rupa Goswami says, Kintu Adarat. Adarat means respect. Adar karna. Hindi is saying adar. Show respect to the doctor. We can't say to the doctor, you don't know. But sometimes Google, sometimes, it's an analogy. Otherwise they said, two persons you have to be away from is doctor and lawyer. But analogy is given here, My Guru Maharaj used to say something like, it was like, पैर रखो गरम, सर रखो ठंडा, फिर भी आए वे तो मारो उसको डंडा. Something like that it was. I remember once, one reporter went to Srila Prabhupada and she said to Srila Prabhupada, all you and your disciples, you are all, shaved. It's so cold. So cold. And you are shaved. You don't feel cold? Srila Prabhupada looked at her and she was wearing a very short skirt. And Srila Prabhupada asked her, why are you wearing such a short skirt? It's so cold. She could not answer, and Prabhupada said, it's better to have a cool head than cold legs. Srila Prabhupada had a way. So, coming back to the point, we are suffering from this disease. We have no attraction for spiritual life. Hari Nam is the only medicine, Bhagavad Katha is the only medicine, but we find it very bitter. We are chanting, saying, okay, when the round will finish. We have no taste. However, this is the prescription. If Shraddha is there, faith in the words of spiritual master and scriptures is there, and if we still do it, Kintu Adarad. I remember one devotee was saying to me that, I started worshipping, doing the arti and, daily. And there are some days where I don't feel like doing it. And I'm saying to Krishna, look, I don't feel like doing it, I'm still doing it, remember? It's okay, you can have that conversation, but do it. Kintu, this is called adara, respect. Kintu adarat, and then anudinam. What does anudinam mean? Every day. Not that you do it one day, then you miss the next day, then you do it 2 days, then you miss 7 days. No. Devotional service means quantity and consistency, both. This is called, the next verse says, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. It means quantity with respect. Kintu Adarad. Therefore, word Kintu is used. I know you are not attracted, you find it bitter, but still, Kintu Adarad, Anudinam Khalu Seva Jushtam. If you keep doing it, then how the sugarcane juice, with that, taking it every day, the condition of disease of liver bile jaundice subsides, and when that subsides, then you can taste the sweetness of the juice. Similarly, we will start tasting the sweetness of Krishna Katha and Krishna Nam. Krishna Katha and Krishna Nam. So these conditions, when we don't feel the taste and the bad habits still remain, and due to that the taste is bitter of spiritual life, is called anartha. But if we keep at it, then it's called anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti. And here in the verse it says, Hriday antasto hi abhadrani vidhunoti srihut satam. Then the next stage it goes to Nashtaprayeshva bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishthiki. So, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. So, when all the Abhadra or Anarthas, they are Nashta, destroyed, then that condition is called completion, almost completion of Anartha Nivritti. And then actually real bhakti starts. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states the sixth stage of that is actually bhakti. Bhakti actually starts. As Anartha Nivritti goes, you start the bhakti. And at that stage then, he states what happens? Anarthopagamam, disappearance of obstacles in the path of bhakti. There are obstacles in the path of bhakti, obstacles like our own addictions, our own shortcomings, our own inabilities. All these obstacles, they are removed. One of another verses in Bhagavatam is Anartho upagamam sakshat bhakti yogam adhokshajaya lokasya hi ajananto vidvams chakra samhite. Srimad Bhagavatam has the power anartho upagamam sakshat of removing all the anarthas. Why? Bhakti yoga adhokshajaya, because it is propounding the process of bhakti yoga onto Krishna, adhokshajaya. However, lokasya hi ajanato, people don't know this. And that's why Vidvams Samhita Chakre, something like that. Last line, I think I'm not saying correct. Vidvams Chakre Samhita. Therefore, Vidvams, great sage Vyasadeva, he wrote this Samhita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So this stage, Anartho Upagamam, is removed, and then Nishtha is formed. Nishtha means what? Steadiness, very good. Steadiness. Then you can't deviate. Then there's no question of deviation. It just becomes second nature, almost second nature. And when that steadiness is there, continually chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, then what happens? Tadarajastamo bhava kama lobhadayaschaye cheta eteirana vidham stitam sattve prasidati. Then the effects of lower modes of passion and ignorance, lust, desire and hankering disappear from the heart. Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobha dayaschaye cheta eteir anavidham stitam sattve prasidati. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and also Rupa Goswami calls what happens in this stage is called ruchi. Ruchi means taste. That interest actually comes because taste is there. Now, because the disease is gone, the disease of jaundice or disease of trying to enjoy materially is gone, then we can taste the spiritual life. And at the Nishtha stage, still there may be a tinge of weaknesses where the mind may go here and there, but the person is Nishtha, he's aware of it and he brings it back. However, at Ruchi stage, he is just attached to chanting the glories of the Lord, doing Krishna worship, hearing Krishna Katha, speaking Krishna glories. saving the devotees, all the processes, he's just attached to doing it. So he just does it spontaneously. Ruchi. And that ruchi, when fully matured, becomes asakti. Asakti means attachment. Firmly attached. Meaning, no, I can't do without this. I cannot do without this now. I cannot do without chanting. I cannot do without Bhagavatam. I have to do this. He has become attached. Secretary, Prabhu, Mike, can someone like no, because audiences said they can't hear. The the live audience.
Then they should be here.
Yes.
Yes. So just when you say this ruchi, when the taste comes, I was just someone told me some time back that they're not at ruchi stage, of course, but they're saying that when one day they decided in the morning, Sunday morning, that today I don't want to chant. Let me see what happens. Please don't do that. But this devotee said, let me see what happens. In 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, after they said, no, you cannot stay like that. And then they just took out the chanting beads and chanted 16 rounds at one time. I said, okay, no more experiment. So this is just to bring that, how even when sometimes the taste is not there, but the calling of duty is there, so we just do that. We do this commitment for everything else. We give an example of the athlete running 100 meters in 9 seconds, but they're just not running at that time. They've been running and practicing and committing all their life. Same thing with us for devotional service. We make sure that we just do it day in and day out. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, yes, asakti means firmly attached. We cannot do without it. So nicely explained. And then actually the real thing starts. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. So this verse itself, word to word, those who understand the meaning or those who learn the meaning, Rupa Goswami says, Srimad Bhagavatam Artharnam Asvado Rasikai Saha. That actually, so nicely Keshni recited this morning the whole chapter. And the next stage is Keshni, word to word. And so this is Shrinvan, Supatan and Vichara, because if you do word to word, then you can appreciate Srimad Bhagavatam. Evam prasanna manaso, that the mind becomes enlivened. And when we read the verse and our mind is not enlivened, we should think, why isn't the mind enlivened? Because we haven't followed the process properly. Evam prasanna manaso. This stage, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, is called Rati. Rati means fondness. At this stage, it is the intensity of Ruchi is growing. Kunti Maharani prays, and she uses this word. Tvai me nanya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit. Tvai me ananya vishaya. What happens at this stage is we earnestly pray, Matir Madhupate Asat, O Madhupati, O Krishna, let there be no other object of my attention except you. Please repeat. Tvayi me nanya vishaya. Ananya means no other. Anya means other. Tvayi me nanya vishaya. Matir madhupate sakrit. Matir means attention. So, at this stage, the devotee is fully attentive to the devotional service, chanting of the holy names. And then what they realize is what? Ratir udvahata adha. Of course, Kunti Maharani is praying that let it be like this. But it will be like this if the process is followed nicely. Is Ratir uddavata adha gange vaugam mudanvati. That how the Ganges boisterously, without any stoppage, if any obstacle is there, it will just disregard the obstacle and move towards the sea. So similarly, let our Rati, our fondness for Krishna, simply like Ganges, just move towards him. Ratir uddavata adha gange vaugam mudanvati. Gange vaugam mudanvati. So this is then described as Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. Yogataha here means yoga. What does yoga mean? Union. So at this stage, a real union happens of the devotee and Krishna through the process of bhakti. Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. And then the devotee can know about Krishna in reality. That is Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. Tattva Vijnanam. He comes to know about Krishna in reality. And this is knowledge about Krishna. It is not knowledge which is separate from Krishna. It is knowledge of Krishna. And Mukta Sangasya Jayate. And he is already Mukta, as previously we have seen, Anartha Nivritti also like has happened. So he's free in actual sense of all tribulations. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur goes on to say, this level is prema, devotional service, love for Krishna. And Rupa Goswami also says it, bhava, rati, or prema. And Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam, the 13th stage, is described as darshanam, vision. In reality, the devotee comes to know of Krishna. And the 14th stage is when it highly matures, then it is called Harer Madhuryanubhava, the direct experience of Lord Hari's sweetness. Harer Madhuryanubhava. Oh, Krishna is so sweet. Vallabhacharya has written this bhajan. Madhuradhipater Akilam Madhuram. Everything about the Lord of sweetness is sweet. But of course, we are diseased. We can't taste that sweetness. So rather than just sentimentally jumping to 10th Canto and intimate pastimes of Krishna, through getting adhikar fest, satam kripa, and mahat seva, saving the devotees, developing our faith, taking shelter of Guru in our bona fide ISKCON Sampradaya, and under their guidance doing bhajan, sadhana bhakti, and in that way getting rid of all the anarthas and getting nishtha, steadiness, and after nishtha having the taste of Krishna consciousness and getting attached to the Lord, asakti, and getting the fondness of doing the devotional service and developing ultimately love for Krishna. One is in constant conversation with Krishna. It can happen factually. We don't need the material eyes. I remember my Guru Maharaj told this, that one Suradasa, Birvamangal Thakur, he was blind. But every day before the curtains of the deities have opened, he used to sing what the Krishna's garments color are, what kind of jewelry he's wearing, what kind of turban or crown he's wearing. So Pujari one day thought someone is telling him. So one day Pujari did not dress Krishna at all, just left him like this without telling anyone. And then he opened the curtains and then he said, Surdas, okay, tell how the Lord is dressed now. So Surdas started laughing and he said, Aaj bhai harim nangam nanga. Today my Lord is all naked. We don't need these material eyes. Brahmaji says, Prabhupada quotes this many times, Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena Santa sadaiva hridyesu vilokayanti Yamashama sundaram achintya guna swarupam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. Our eyes have to be ointed with the kajal of love. In this way, Santaha, the great devotees who are known as Santaha, Sadayeshu below, they are seeing the audience of Krishna. And what does that Supreme Lord look like? Yamashama sundaram achintya guna swarupam. That Supreme Lord has the form of Shama Sundara, the blackish, bluish boy. And Achintya, his Swarupa is inconceivable. We say blackish blue, but none of the material color actually represent that. It's only used to describe. But when one sees, actually then they'll know that beauty. And that boy is Govindamadi Purusham. He is the original personality of God, that is Govinda. And Brahmaji says, Tamaham bhajami, I worship him. The next stage, Vidyate hridaye granthis, Chidyante sarva shamshaya, Shiyante chasya karmani, Drashta evatmanishvare. So the results of following the process of bhakti is this. Vidyate hridaya granthis. It is interesting. If you look at the word to word there, vidyate means pierced. So all our misgivings of before, Krishna is not the Lord, or no, spiritual life is not the goal of life. All those misgivings is pierced. But is piercing enough? No. Sometimes, if someone is pierced, they're still alive. Hope is still there. Then he says, Chidyante sarva samsayaha. What is chidyante? Cutting. So sometimes you cut it then. After piercing, you cut it. But is cutting a knife enough? No. Still, some life may be there, that hope that no, I can still be perhaps materially happy. It will give me happiness. Then the third word Sud Goswami uses, Shiyante chasya karmani. Shiyante means terminated. Not only pierced, not only cut, fully terminated. Means crushed like powder and just destroyed. Shiyante, what destroyed? Chasya karmani, the desire for fruitive enjoyment, that by doing just fruitive activity in this material world, I'll be able to enjoy. That is completely destroyed. That stage is called Naishkarmya. Meaning, no, this material activity can never give me happiness. It is not only pierced, not only cut, it is totally terminated. Perhaps Krishna's name should be Terminator. And in that stage, one is actually able to see Krishna and see the self. So we'll stop there today, because many people have to go to the farm. Any questions, any comments? Secretary Prabhuji, please. Yeah. Sorry, we are waiting for you. We started.
Sorry, we're late.
No.
We had a guest who had to leave this morning.
Okay.
Sorry, Prabhu, I think I missed step 12 and 13.
12 is prema, 13 is darshanam, and 14 is harer madhurya bhava.
I got it document, Word document, I can send it to Prabhu, you can send it to the group.
Okay.
Yeah, that will be nice. So you can send it to the group.
So once the bhakti. So once Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's spiritual master, he was, in the morning he came to take darshan of the deities, and he forgot his glasses. Whether he forgot or he just didn't wear, I don't know. So one of the, he was constantly looking at the deities. So one of the disciples came running and says, Gurudev, you've forgotten your glasses. You want me to bring your glasses? You can see the deities. Then he looked at him and says, I don't need my glasses to look at the deities. And then he also said that when we look at the deities, we are looking from our heart. But at the same time, right now, we are the drishta and he is the drishya, but it becomes opposite also, that he is the drishta and we are the drishya. He sees that Arti Priya Mataji is here and she's cooked some nice prasadam, so she is very happy. So he sees the devotees nicely and he becomes happy. So when we come to take darshan, it's very nice, even though sometimes we don't know these nuances, but when Arti is happening, and when we are there, we also get the benefit of performing the arati. And if you notice at the end, when the pujari is offering the paraphernalia and then he is offering it to the devotees. So what does that mean? That the Lord doesn't consider the arati to be complete unless it is offered to his devotees, that's all of us. So Lord is so compassionate like that also. So when we know these things and we come to the temple with that mood, that when I'm coming here, yes, I'm happy to see the deities, but I want to make sure that they're happy to see us also. And at New Golden Farm, there is one Mataji who actually, when she has to dress the deities, she dresses herself very beautifully. Because she knows that when I'm in front of the deities, they should be happy. And when we wake the deities up in the morning, it's said that when you wake up the deities, it should be like festival. Your face should be smiling like as if you're taking part in a festival. So even when we are tired, we are unhappy with something, but when we open the deity curtains and when we see the deities, we should always feel joyful that yes, we're taking part in a festival. So the Lord becomes very happy like that. These are simple things we can remember about seeing the deity and their sweetness.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Any other questions? Okay, so please, if you weren't here yesterday evening, please hear the class given by His Grace Janakaraj Prabhu on Purushottam Mass, and there he listed the many benefits of observing this month, which starts on the 18th of July. And please try to do as much as possible. It's really indeed a sale, and when a bargain is there, we just grab it. We'll be, on the Purushottam month, we'll be starting Friday evening program as well. So in the Friday and Saturday evening programs now we have extended together with Sunday morning. So at least 3 days something is happening in this temple. And Krishna willing, as more devotees are able to, make themselves available, more devotees are able to move closer. It is said that one should live close to river and close to temple. So see how your situation is, if you can be close to physical proximity, then it's easier in practical sense. But of course, we want your hearts to be more close to us. That's very important. So let's see what is practical and try to do in that way. Okay.
Along with the sale of Purushottam month for next month, even the properties are on sale here. Take note of that.
Yes. Jai Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaur Premanande, Gaur Bhakta Bindu ki Jai. Have a blissful Yatra, those who are going to the farm. Hare Krishna.